Hey, everybody, welcome back to Bound by Grace podcast, where we explore the intersection of faith, healing, and practical wisdom for everyday life. Today's episode is a must listen for every parent, caregiver, or mentor who's ever felt overwhelmed, unheard, or stuck in the cycle of yelling just to be taken seriously. Joining me is the powerhouse of peace herself, Celia Kibler. She's a Mom's Choice Award winning best selling author, an international speaker, a family empowerment coach, and the visionary founder of the International Day of Calm. Celia has spent decades helping families break generational patterns, build respectful relationships, and raise children who thrive emotionally, spiritually, and behaviorally. In this episode, we're unpacking how to cultivate respect in your home without resorting to yelling, threats, or emotional exhaustion. Celia shares practical tools, mindset shifts, and heart centered strategies that empower parents to lead with calm authority and compassion. If you've ever wondered whether peace and discipline can coexist, this conversation will show you that not only is it possible, it's powerful. So take a deep breath, grab your favorite warm drink, and let's lean into the transformative dialogue with Celia Kibler. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, Amber. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be on your show.
Absolutely. I'm so excited we were able to make this work.
Me too. Me too.
um, so, why don't you tell our guests a little bit more about yourself and what it is you do?
Okay, be happy to. And welcome to everyone listening. And thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us. I hope you take notes and take some of the information you'll hear and really implement it into your home. Uh, Again, my name is Celia Kibler, and I am all about getting parents, to raise respectful children without the need to yell. I am a mom, in case you wondered how I managed to say this and actually raise children. I have raised 5 children through a blended family. I've been a real life mom for 43 years, and I've been successfully parenting a blended family for over 30 years. I, as Amber mentioned, I am a best-selling author, and everything I do centers around parents creating a framework that works in their home so that we remove the need to yell, because the truth is yelling is not respectful. So if you're trying to teach your children to be respectful to each other, to others, to adults, to parents, to teachers, whoever, you are not modeling respect by yelling at them.
I agree completely. I even heard, you may know the actual study, but there was a study done, and I'll have to find it. Maybe I can link it in the video, but it discussed the effects of yelling on a child's brain is actually a trauma that happens in the brain.
It is, and that's why I'm so passionate about it, because yeah, we're not talking about somebody who runs basically a calm household. You have a bad day, you come home, you yell. I mean, that happen. We're human. So are you going to never yell again? No, you may yell.
Right.
But then for that, you apologize. But people that yell consistently, their daily mode of communication is yelling and frustration with their kids. When that happens on a regular basis and you keep apologizing because you feel guilty or badly about it, so you apologize. The problem is, stop apologizing and fix the aggressive parenting. Because when children are aggressively parented, they build low self-esteem, they have
Mhm.
low confidence. There is a huge percentage of anxiety, depression. Like 70% of kids that are consistently yelled at and aggressive have anxiety. They are moody, they are difficult. All the things you don't want your children to be, you are creating by having this aggressive parenting style that is a constant yelling match for your children. And the truth is, when children are raised this way, they don't grow up hating you, they grow up hating themselves.
Oh, yeah, that's powerful. And I can see that. I grew up with a mom, man, um, she yelled all the time. All the time. She would yell at her husband, she would yell at her kids, she would yell just to yell, like, it was I would almost say not yelling, she was screaming. It was exhausting, it was terrifying, it was, definitely something I grew up hating to where as a parent now, I'm so mindful of when I raise my voice, I do it when things have gotten too chaotic, and all I do is I yell, "Hey," just to get everybody's attention, and then I'll calmly start to speak. But coming up in a household where there was constant yelling, I have anxiety. I struggled with low self-esteem. So that kind of hits home. Uh, and I have trauma responses, even though I can't equate that to trauma, if that makes sense. Um,
Well, you grow up thinking, "What is wrong with me?
yeah.
What is wrong with me that I'm constantly yelled at?" And then eventually you feel like you're the bad kid because you never do anything right. Because no one ever says anything about what you're doing right. They're only noticing what goes wrong. And then when something goes wrong, goes into a whole rage.
Mhm.
So your child starts thinking, what did I do wrong? Why am I so bad? And then they live up to that expectation. And they have trouble in school and they have trouble with their friends. They have trouble in relationships down the road because they don't know how to feel good about themselves and they don't have any kind of role model to reflect on to see what calm, constructive, respectful communication is like.
Yeah. And then I feel like it almost becomes a generational curse because you're either going to be
Absolutely.
completely opposite or you're going to do the same thing with your kids.
Right.
So it really needs to be like, if that's how you grew up, so that is how you raise your kids, you need to reflect and think, is this really what I want to be doing? And make that mindful change. Because, like you said, that apologizing, this goes into a different aspect, right? That apologizing and continuing the same behavior is teaching your child that apologies hold no weight. And that's another issue,
Yeah, and it's yeah, because you're apologizing, but nothing ever changes.
right?
And what happens when a child is consistently yelled at, they come out two way. They either come out very aggressive and they rage themselves because they don't know any other way, or they
Yep.
come out to be the peacemaker, and now it's their job to make sure there's no confrontation, no nothing, everything just stays peaceful,
Yep.
and they apologize for everything because they assume it's all their fault, and even if it's not their fault, they're gonna keep the peace. So you as you listen to this, I'm sure some of you are shaking your head thinking, "Yes, yes, I'm like, I can't deal with confrontation." Because it's so impactful to you. And think of the people that have crimes against children, kids that shoot up schools and things like that. What was their childhood like that they
Right.
are that filled with rage and anger? And that's
Yep.
what you're creating. You think about yourself, what do you want your child to be? We are raising adults. We are not raising
Mhm.
children. They are already children. Our job is to raise this wonderful adult that's kind, compassionate, self-reliant, has great self-worth, has great self-esteem, is happy and fun. That's our job. So when you write down all these qualities of what you want your child to be when they grow up, are you being that? Are you those qualities? Are you demonstrating those qualities? Are you role modeling those qualities? Because if you're not, you're looking in the mirror and that's what your child's going to be when they grow up.
Yeah, because there was going back to another study, there was another study done by psychologists that stated that you can speak to your children as much as you want to, but when they get molded, it's based off of what they see in action.
100%. Communication is 80% nonverbal. and it breaks down finer than this. But in general, 80% nonverbal, 20% the words you speak. So you may think you're being kind, but if you're screaming, whatever those words are, or you're looking at your phone while you're trying to talk to your child, or
Yeah.
you're rolling your eyes, or you're pointing your finger, or you're doing some kind of an aggressive nonverbal cue to your child, that's what they're reading. They're not reading the words you're saying. They're reading your action.
Mm, yeah. And going back to the peacemaker and the aggressor, my sister is the peacemaker and I'm aggressive. It just, as soon as you said that, I got chills and I was like, holy crap, like, wow. And it's so polar opposite. Um, and I still struggle with aggression, even though I'm in my late 30s. I have to be so cognizant of what is going on in my emotions. Like I've had to learn to like try to be emotionally intelligent because I did not start off that way because I wasn't taught it. So in my 20s, I was extremely aggressive with everyone around me, including strangers. And then I started to get older and seeing, hey, this isn't who I want to be. This isn't how I want to be perceived. And started to try and change it and calm myself down. It takes a lot of self awareness and a lot of self control.
Yes. And it's like you say, you're in control of you. You have to decide who do you want to be. When we're born with a lot of emotions. Takes our brain 25 years to fully develop. We
Mm-hmm.
are not born with what to do with those emotions, how to respond, emotional intelligence. It's not built in, it is learned. So if you as the parent, when your child disappoints you, you're basically throwing a tantrum and screaming and raging, which is what a tantrum is.
Yeah, yeah.
All you're doing is teaching your child when they're disappointed, that's what they do. They can't learn emotional intelligence if no one teaches it to them.
Yep. Completely agree. So I'm going to use an anonymous source to try and maybe, because in my household, I think I do a decent job because I came from a household of yelling. But I do know of some of like a friend of mine or an acquaintance of mine. She has 5 kids as well, and she does yell. The kids, I even did a podcast with one of the children asking them, when do you feel most respected? And he said, when I'm heard. And he was like, and I said, well, when do you feel you respect your parent the most? And he said, when they ask me to do something, they're not yelling at me to do it.
No
So
one
coming
ever
from a
feels
child,
respected by yelling.
yeah,
It's
but
because it's not respectful.
it's not. But it kind of was eye-opening to hear it from a child's mouth, the exact thing that we know, but he was experiencing the yelling and he knew that that was not respect.
Right.
Um, and he's only 13.
No one likes to be yelled at. You said yourself you hated that growing up.
Absolutely.
No one likes to be yelled at. I've had parents go, "My child actually likes to be yelled at." No, your child does not like to be yelled
No,
at.
there's
You
no
are
way.
just lacking the tools that you should know what to do when things aren't going the way you want them to go. There are
Yeah.
tools, there is a framework. What people forget, or I shouldn't even say they forget it because they don't realize it. When you grow up in life, we are taught systems. We are taught frameworks. You go to school, you learn how to do math, how to do English, how science experiments work. You learn how to go to the bathroom. You learn how to drive a car. There are systems for everything. You decide what you're going to do for your career, a system. What do I need to know to do this? I'm going to be a plumber. What do I need to know? I'm going to be a lawyer. What do I need to know? And you learn what you need to know. I find it very odd that the most important responsibility we have as
Yeah.
human beings, parenting another person into adulthood, we feel we need no help with. We feel like there is not a system. There is just a fly by the seat of your pants and do what you have to do. And how is that working out for us? There are generations of people that have to recover from their childhood. How about we start creating generations of adults that don't have to recover from their childhood? Why is
Yeah.
that assumed?
Wow. No, you're right. That's put it in that perspective, and it is kind of crazy that there's no system set up to teach us how to handle being a parent.
There is a system. I mean,
Well,
that's
I
what
mean,
I do
before
with
you become,
parents.
oh, yes,
Right.
with
That's what
yours,
I
yes.
do. My book is like a manual. You know how parents always say, "Book kids don't come with a
Yep,
manual." So I
yep,
wrote one. And, happy that it did win. It actually won another award. You mentioned the Mom's Choice. It actually also won the International Impact Book Award for parenting. So that was wonderful. I was
very
grateful
cool.
for that. And it's called Raising Happy Toddlers: How to Build Great Parenting Skills and Stop Yelling at Your Kids. I'm all about not yelling at your kids.
Very good.
And but what we don't realize is parents think that they're silly if they ask for help. They're embarrassed if they ask for help. I should be able to do it myself. My parents did it. My grandparents did it. Everybody did it. Well, just because they did it, how are the generations of this world turning out from what they did? How do we not realize there is a better way? I
Mhm.
raised 5 children in a blended family, from little guys to now adults. 5 teenagers, 5 stages of life without yelling at them. And to this day, my stepchildren and my children have a very strong bond. They're all in their 30s and 40s, and they know darn well they can call me at the drop of a hat. 2 in the morning, I'll be in that car and on my way if they need
Yep,
help with something,
yep,
because we created a respectful environment between all of us and everybody felt valued and heard. If you want to see why a teenager doesn't want any part of their family, just like that boy said to you, nobody cares what I have to say. Nobody asks me. Nobody listens to me. I might as well be invisible. And once a person in a relationship, even in a husband wife relationship, feels invisible, they feel of no value. And why
yeah,
am I even bothering with this group of people who don't even support me?
yeah. I think the respect thing, feeling respected, and valued builds trust.
Absolutely. And you need those 2 things in every relationship: respect
Yep,
and trust. Don't have
yeah,
it, no relationship. And if you expect your kids to cooperate and listen, you have to be connected to them. You have to have a bond, an understanding, whether they're your children, your stepchildren, whatever child is in your life, you have to connect with them. You have to take time with them. You have to do date nights where it's one on one with each of your
yeah.
kids. My son is 37 years old. We still go on date nights together. We go to the movies
Oh,
and to dinner. Sometimes his wife comes, sometimes she doesn't. And it means so much to him that he moved to Amsterdam for a couple of years and he's home now. But before he moved, he said to me, "Mom, we need to do a date night before I leave." I didn't mention it to him because, we had a lot on his plate. He asked me, so I know how much it means to a child. It just, no matter the age, they need to know that they're important in your life.
absolutely. So we talked about yelling is bad, obviously, and what it does to the brain, what it does to the emotions, what it does to the self-esteem. So let's transition, and how can someone that is yelling, what are the steps they can take to start to change that pattern?
Good question. First of all, think of parenting as a puzzle. It is not one tip, is not one solution. If all of the pieces of this puzzle are not working hand in hand, you will not have harmony. Okay. You will not have unity. You will not have that cooperation that everybody wants, where your children want to cooperate, where they volunteer to do things. Sound crazy? Well, it can happen. You have to have all the pieces in place. So all those pieces is your framework that your family runs on. Things like you need to have schedules and routines. You need to have limits and boundaries. You need to have encouragement. You need to have consequences, not punishment, consequences that teach.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have calm communication. You need to have family meetings that gets everybody on the same page each week.
Yes.
You need to have consistency. You need to not give up. You need to be persistent. If you start a routine and 2 days later you're like, this isn't working, well, it's not working because no one's mastered it yet. What's the opposite of success? Every person will tell me failure. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure and mistakes are part of success. There is no success without failure and mistakes.
Yeah, that's true.
The opposite of success is giving up. If you give up, there will be no success. You have to stay persistent and consistent. And all of these pieces, and I'm pretty sure I've left some out, work hand in hand. Choices, that's one I left out. And there's a right way to give choices and a not right way to give choices. All of this works hand in hand to create a cooperative, happy, fun, loving, respectful environment in your home. I'll give you one tool you can use, because often, in answer to your question, we get elevated. We get, our emotions get escalated. We're like, oh, they're not listening again. We ask nicely. I just did a masterclass last night on, how to stop the cycle of asking them 5 times until you yell and then they move. Because the problem with asking them, and you come in very nice and you're calm and you're using your manners and you ask them, they don't do it. You come back and ask again, they don't do it. You come back and ask again, they don't do it. Now you're screaming and raging and they move. You've trained them to respond that way because you're not serious until you yell. The problem is not the yelling in that scenario. The problem is you're asking your child over and over and over again to do the same thing. I call it be a one and done parent. What's a one and done parent? It's a parent that asks one time and that's it. You never ask again. I never ask my kids more than once. You do it or you don't do it. If you don't do it, there's a consequence. Or I do it. If you ask your child to turn off TV, it's time to come to dinner. You go, honey, can you please turn off the TV? It's time to come to dinner. And they go, yeah, Mom, I'm going to get it. Then you come back 5 minutes later and it's not off and you keep asking. Walk over to the TV and turn it off. Why are you asking? You already asked. They didn't do it. TV's off. If they throw a fit, you can be, okay, no TV the rest of the night. You can throw a consequence on there. If they're crying, they're crying. Go in, enjoy your dinner. Let them cry. No child ever died by crying.
Yep.
And they will learn through action that you mean what you say the first time you ask. No yelling necessary. But I'll give you a quick little acronym, which I teach all of my clients, so that you can end the cycle of that built up aggression until you yell. It's Peppa. So you know Peppa Pig. It's not about Peppa Pig. P-E-P-A. So that extra P is for the pig. Throw that away. Get rid of the pig. Pause, evaluate, plan, and act. And the beauty of Peppa is it can apply to anything. It can apply to you getting frustrated with something you're working on at work.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I got to get this done. Stop for a minute. Take a step back. Evaluate what's going on. What is a productive, constructive response? Plan it. Then do it. Pause, evaluate, plan, and act. Peppa. And the beauty of it is if you're getting like all anxious and irritated, The second you think of Peppa, you've paused your brain. The pause is instantly implemented. Now you've stopped the cycle. So practice Peppa, 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 like over and over again.
I love that.
And then if you're walking in and your kids are yelling and screaming at each other, now you could contribute with the yelling and screaming match. And what gets resolved in screaming matches? Nothing. Or you could take a step back, go, okay, let me see what's going on. Why do siblings fight? For the biggest reason, for the most part, is they're sick of each other. And we're always throwing them on top of each other. Go play, go play, go play. We're always going to get like they're going to kill each other because they're sick of being together. So maybe the reason they're aggravated is because they've been together for an hour. They've actually been playing nicely, but now they're sick of it. So walk in calmly, say, you know what, guys, I really appreciate how nice you've been playing. Why don't we all take a break? Don't even address the argument because the argument is a symptom of them too long together. Invite them to help you. Say, come on, let's fix dinner. Let's fold clothes. Even a 2-year-old can fold washcloths.
Yeah, and they like to.
They love to. All they want to do is be big. So let them be big. Your time with your children doesn't always have to be playtime. It should be responsibilities around the house time too. You got laundry on Tuesday night. Everybody contributes. It's Tuesday night, laundry night. Okay, we're going to fix dinner. You guys set the table. Joey, you help me, mix up this whatever. They should contribute to the household stuff too. Instead of what many people do. Mom, can I help? No, go play. I got this. Well, what you just did when you said no, go play, is you just gave your child the role of they play. That's their role in this family. I play, you do the work. Who wants them? Nobody wants that. I want, when I get older, I want you do work. I play.
Yeah.
We don't want to put in the instant thing. Okay, you're the player and I'm doing all the work. No. Moms were always doing all the work. Dads are doing their work moms are working. You're working at home. You're working out of the house, working. Then you come home and you have whatever needs to be done. Stop taking on everything. You made more humans. Give them the opportunity to help. They want to help. They're good at helping. We're born helpers. And guess what? It is not all on your shoulders. And they realize that their role in this family is to be an active contributor to this family. Not just you go play and I work. And then when chores come around, chores are nothing because they've been doing them all their life. They've been helping clean up. They've been cooking dinner. They've been doing laundry. They've been cleaning up the backyard. That's normal. That's their normal. Instead of all of a sudden at 10 years old, guess what? We're all going to have chores.
Yeah.
They're like, ooh, who wants chores? Nobody wants chores. But when it's normal, think of people that live on the farm. You live on a farm, you have no choice but to farm. This farm doesn't operate unless all of us are pitching in. Think of your home as a farm. This home doesn't operate unless we're all pitching in. And then have a nice encouragement system that helps them recognize that their contribution, their hard work is appreciated.
Yeah, my kids, I mean, every one of them are different, period. I have to discipline them differently. They are all different. But two of my daughters, no, all three of my daughters, I guess all of them really, when they do something, I make the biggest deal just to make them feel like, oh, I like that feeling. I want to do this again. Like, and it's the same. I know it's not child related, but it's the same in marriage.
100%.
If you want something to change in your husband or your wife, you don't focus on the negative things and say this needs to change. As soon as they do something that is a good thing, that you want to see more of, you make a big deal about it and you tell them how that made you feel. So kids are the same. You do that same thing
Absolutely.
with them and it works wonders.
What you focus on grows. So if you're focusing on the negative all the time, that's what you're going to see more of. For children, they need your attention. However they get it, they need your attention. So if there is no way of creating positive attention, and when they help with dinner, they help with laundry, you guys go outside and play, that is positive attention. If they don't receive that, they will demand attention any way they can get it. And if they're screaming and yelling, they're banging on a table, they're doing something annoying, you immediately turn around and say, "Stop." Guess what? They just got your attention. And they learn that the way to get your attention is through a negative behavior, through something that annoys you.
And
But
I will
they're going to
say,
get it any way they can.
yeah, I will say, I think it's subconscious. I don't think they go out of their way to do something bad or aggravating to get your attention, because when I was a kid, I never thought, I want their attention. Let me do something. I think it's subconscious. They
It is.
don't
At
realize
first, it
that's what they're
is.
doing. Yeah.
Exactly. At first, it is like a tantrum. At first, that is a subconscious reaction to an emotion. But what happens is they do something like that, not realizing it, and it works.
Yeah.
And you gave them attention. And now they've learned, well, if I do that, I get attention. If I
Ooh, yeah.
throw a tantrum, if I scream and yell, I get what I want, which is why you can never give into a tantrum. You never give them what they want, because tantrums start, like you said, Amber, from a subconscious reaction in your brain to disappointment, being told no, whatever, list it. They continue for one reason and one reason only. They work. And people go, well, I don't give in. And I will work with my clients and I will analyze what's going on, because something you are doing is creating their belief that they get their way if they throw a tantrum. Sometimes it's like parents will say, okay, if you just calm down, I'll give it to you. And they'll say, well, that's not me giving into the tantrum. That's me having them calm down and then I give it to them. But that is giving into the tantrum, because what you just taught them is they scream and yell, they have a tantrum. You ask them to calm down, they get what they want. So you created one more step to the cycle of achieving success.
Yeah, I think I do that with my youngest.
And you are just encouraging the tantrum.
Yeah. So you would say if they're if they're doing the tantrum like a toddler, you get them to calm down, or do you allow them to do the tantrum and just you don't give them anything?
Exactly. So when a tantrum occurs, remember that is their brain reacting to some form of disappointment. Okay. So they don't go back to, we are not born with how to react to our emotions. Our subconscious mind spits out reactions. So if they're disappointed or something happens, they're told no, whatever happens, they don't get the candy bar they wanted, their subconscious mind will spit out a reaction. That reaction may be screaming and yelling, biting, kicking, throwing, whatever it is. If they're throwing a tantrum, you have to let that out of control cycle calm itself down.
Mm.
If you talk into a tantrum, you are going to escalate it, because they are not at all hearing you. You're just creating more sensory input, and you are just going to escalate the tantrum. Just let them have a tantrum. And the more you do this, the less you give in, the less you sit there and try to calm them down through words, the less the tantrum will last and the less you'll see of tantrums. My clients, they may start with 5, 6 tantrums a day. They end with, they'll be like, well, maybe they had one this month. Maybe they had one last week, but it was so short I can't even remember.
Wow.
Because you are not confirming that behavior. You are just going on with your life. Now, does that mean if they're very upset, you can't coddle them and hug them and snuggle them and calm them? Yes, you can. But you can't go, okay, calm down and I'll give you that ice cream. And then you'll just have your ice cream before dinner. No. Love never spoils a child. Giving in to what they want when they want it, the minute they ask for it, that spoils a child. You can always comfort them. You can sit next to them and relax them if it's getting out of hand. Once they calm down, do not turn around and give them what the whole tantrum was about. Go do something else with them. Honey, come on, let's go play a game. Your time is the most valuable thing to your child.
Okay.
So if you're going to be on the phone, do something active with your child before, if you can arrange it. Or if you're on the phone and they're like, mommy, 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 mommy. You know how they do that?
That's mine.
Right, they all do it. Then just say, honey, do this. I'm almost off. Go pick out a game for us to play. And when I get off, we'll play a game together. That, for the
Okay.
most part, will give them something to do that they're going to do with you when you get off that phone. And then when you get off the phone, compliment them on how
Yeah.
much you appreciate them giving you the time to do that. Now let's play our game. Doesn't have to be hours of play. 10 minutes is great. They just need a little of your attention.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've got to say, a lot of parents are probably thinking, oh, I'll do these changes and everything's going to be great. What they don't realize is it has to be a consistent change, and that takes you being very self-aware and always being on purpose. It does not come naturally.
Right. You have to be
Eventually
intentional.
it might come naturally if you've done it for years, but it does not start out that way, especially since I know myself, I was not raised that way. So I have all of these, in the back of my mind, how I was raised, and I don't want to do this because it didn't work, or I want to do this because that seemed to work. You have to retrain yourself, and that takes effort. So you have to really want the change and be consistent.
Absolutely. And give it time, just like you said. And, you have to understand that it is our human nature as humans to notice the negative.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do nothing else after you listen to this podcast, start noticing the positive. Your children do a lot more good than not so good. Start noticing. I had a client, when I start my client calls with my, one-on-one clients, I always ask them what their wins are. What went right? And I had one client say to me one day, she was very frustrated with her son. She said, I don't know. I honestly can't even think of anything that went right. And our call was about like 1 PM. And I said to her, did he wake up this morning? And she goes, yes. Did you have to help him? No. Did he brush his teeth? Yes. Did he go potty? Yes. Did he get dressed? Yes. Did he eat his breakfast? Yes. Did he get to school on time? Yes. I said, so there's 6 things right there in the first hour of the day that he did right and you didn't even notice. You didn't even notice. My scoreboard that I give parents as a encouragement system is more about you than about them. They love it. They love earning points. It's not a chore board. It's not like, oh, we did the dishes, we did that. It's all about making an effort to be positive and helpful. So when your child says, Mom, can I have a glass of milk, please? You're like, oh, honey, that was a really nice way to ask. Of course you can. Boom, you get a point. Little brother's struggling, and a big brother walks over and goes, I'm going to read you a book. And they both sit
Oh, I
and read a
love
book.
that.
That's so nice. Oh, I'm going to give you 2 points for that.
Mm-hmm.
And all the biggest result of this scoreboard is, yes, children become very cooperative because they're encouraged, but it also switches your mindset into really making you start noticing the positive your kids do.
Yeah.
That was 6 things in the morning. She couldn't think of one thing he did right. He did 6 in a matter of an hour.
Yep.
And she goes, "Well, he's already at school." I said, "Well, when he comes home, you need to say, 'You know what, honey? I really loved how well you got up this morning. You got dressed, you had breakfast, you brushed your teeth. We were out the door on time. It was great. Thank you.'" It's never too late to compliment them, to make
Mhm.
them help them feel appreciated, just like you mentioned in a marriage, a relationship with someone else. You want to feel appreciated.
Mhm.
Everybody puts forth an effort into a relationship. If you constantly focus on what's going wrong and not what's going right, there will never be a relationship there. No one will
No.
ever feel appreciated, and you will
Mm-mm.
lose the connection in your family, in your personal relationship, whatever it is, work, whatever. You
I
have
even
to
use
start
that.
recognizing it.
Yeah, I even use that same thing in my relationships with my family and especially my little brothers because they're still learning um, how to be adults. And I also use it in my friendships. I'm very big on compliments and gratification and in my relationships in all aspects. Could I do better? Absolutely. But it's something I've been really trying to be mindful of and on purpose because I've noticed that people don't do that. They don't.
No,
And if someone's receiving that from you, that builds a bond and really makes them want to be around you.
right. I mean, look at the divorce rate. People always go, number one reason is money. I disagree. Number
Yeah.
one reason is someone feeling invisible,
Mhm.
someone feeling they're not appreciated. How many couples go, "Oh, we're more like roommates than a couple."
Yeah.
Once you lose that visibility of a person, of a child, you have to work to earn it back. That teenagers, if they do not feel like they belong in your family, they will go find somewhere to belong, and it's not gonna be good.
Mhm. No.
You need to build that value system, that ability to recognize when people put an effort into the relationship and notice that and let them know you notice. You can't, like, child goes and cleans up their room. How many times does this happen? They go clean up their room. You go upstairs. They're 10, whatever. They could be a teenager, whatever the age they are. You go upstairs and you look around and you're like, yeah, you did a pretty good job, but
Ooh, yeah.
you missed that pile of clothes over there.
I do that. Yep.
Throw the butt away. Do not give a compliment that ends in but, because you have just wiped that compliment off the face of the earth.
Mm.
Now it has become criticism. So 90% of their room was great, and you chose to focus on the 10% that wasn't. Instead of saying, "You did a really great job, really great job." A lot of things you could do. You could walk over and pick it up yourself, or you could go, "What did you focus on? What did you do? Where do you like to, clean? Whatever." Instead of saying, "But you didn't do this." Which means, "Oh, so I worked really hard. I cleaned up my room, but it doesn't matter because I missed something." Kids will miss something. They're not adults cleaning, and even adults miss stuff. They're kids. They have a different length of attention. They have a different focus. They see things you don't see. It's perspective. It's like, when people say to their children, about their spouse, their partner, they'll say, "Well, they should know." Why should they know? Because you know? No, speak up. I remember when my kids were little, we had all 5 the kids together, and there was a sock on the step. And I'm like, "I'm not picking that sock up. I am not picking that sock up. Somebody in this house is picking up that sock, and it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
me." And I didn't say anything about the sock. And as you can guess, I know all of you are like, "Yes, yes." That sock sat there for a week,
Yes.
and I got irritated every time I walked by it. How could I? So I basically was testing them. Don't
Yeah.
test the people you love. I could have picked up that sock the moment I saw it and thrown it in the laundry and got on with my life and not spend a week torturing myself about this stupid sock. Or somebody goes upstairs, I could have said, "Ryan, can you pick up the sock for me, please, and put it in the laundry?" He would have
Mhm.
picked it up and put it in the laundry. But instead, I tortured myself because they didn't see the sock. And even if they saw it, it wasn't a priority to them. It was a priority to me, but not to them. We all come to life with different perspectives. Your
Yes.
perspective is never someone else's perspective. It's impossible to be that. You are seeing through your lens, they are seeing through theirs.
So with let's go back to the analogy of the room. And let's say that my child, because this is common, where they've cleaned up everything, but maybe a pile of clothes is in the corner and they should have taken that to the laundry. Instead of saying the but, would it be okay to, at the end of complimenting, say, last thing, let's pick up that laundry and take it to the, so that way we're creating the habit of doing that, not just letting it sit there or me doing it. Or should I do it to show that should have been done?
I would rather you just compliment the room being cleaned up. And then maybe before they go to bed, be like, "Oh, you know what? I noticed there's a pile of clothes in the corner. Would you mind putting them in the laundry real quick before you go to bed?" And then
Okay.
it doesn't
Okay.
even relate to the effort they put in.
Because it's already time has passed.
Right. And then it's like, "Oh, yeah, the clothes. Sorry, mom. I didn't notice that."
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
the natural
Yeah.
response to you doing that, would also be a respect. "Oh, totally missed that. Sorry." They would see it in themselves. They would realize
Okay.
themselves, "Oh, I missed that." Whether they say it or not, they would notice it. It's like like, say you're having, like, your little 4-year-old dust the table for you, okay, because
Mhm.
they're never too young to help. You could sit there and go, "Okay, oh, you dusted the table, but you missed the legs." Now you're criticizing them, and they're 4, and they don't know what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You spray some schmutz on the table, and then they get a rag, and they wipe it off. You would be good to go in there with them, get a rag, and say, "Oh, I love cleaning these legs. Look, you can twist them around, you can clean the
Oh,
legs."
yeah.
And indirectly, you just sent them the message that when you dust this table, you also get the legs.
And then they'll do the legs next time.
Next time, they'll do the legs. The next
That's
time, they might
really
do the
good.
legs and not do the top, doesn't but
Yeah, yeah,
they
yeah.
will eventually get it. It's like people go, "I don't want my little one helping me with dinner because they make such a mess."
Yes, that's
Well,
a
they
big
do
one.
make a mess, but they will never learn not to make a mess if they don't have a starting point. You have
Mhm.
to teach skills. You have to teach them. They make a mess, if they're stirring flour and flour gets on the counter, give them a rag and then they'll clean it up. Don't let a
Yeah.
mess stop you from giving your children the opportunity, and it is an opportunity to help around the house. They learn just like you do. We don't build a skill in a day.
Mhm.
Took a while to potty train, took a while for them to learn to walk, took a while for you to learn to drive a car. Skills are not built in a day. They are built over time. Give them the time and make sure they start at a young age so they get an opportunity to really master it by the time they're more able to.
Yeah. So getting back to the yelling, I really like the Peppa. I think that that's very helpful. What do you think about when a parent is overwhelmed to where just taking a moment isn't calming because they still hear all of the activity? Do you think a grounding method is appropriate at that time where you
Any
say,
break is appropriate. So if
okay,
you are still upset because they're screaming and yelling at each other, recognize that screaming back is not going to accomplish a thing. Nothing. They will not have learned anything. Why do you think the same situation occurs day after day after day and you scream about it day after day after day? Because they're not learning anything.
yeah, it's not effective?
You're not teaching them a thing. Our response to a situation should be a response that teaches. That's why consequences teach. Punishment never does. Punishment just reoccurs and the situation just reoccurs. But when you do a good consequence, you teach. But if you are in a situation where you are overwhelmed and the kids are arguing and you're like, oh my gosh, they're not stopping. You're not peppa-ing, if you want to use it as a verb,
Yeah.
the situation. You are not calming yourself down and looking outside of that situation. You probably need to be in another room with the door closed. You need the timeout, not them. And then what is going on? What happened before this? What is happening now? What can I do after it to have a productive outcome?
So in
Don't
my
just jump
mind,
at that instant.
yeah. So in my mind, I'm thinking about my five kids. They're very close in age. They're all 14 and lower. And when they start arguing, let's just say three of them are arguing. The three oldest love to argue. Instead of me doing the hey to get their attention, should I walk up and place my hand on one of their shoulders and kind of intervene with my presence and then speak?
Once they're arguing, stand back from it. So children need to learn how to resolve conflict. They need to problem solve. So you intervening just when they're arguing isn't helping anything. They need to figure out what's going on. They need to learn emotional intelligence. If you intervene, they don't go through the cycle that teaches them how to calm themselves down, how to resolve an argument, how to resolve a situation. They need to learn that. Now, if it like there's blood and violence,
Yeah.
break it up, be like, okay, everybody go into your rooms, but give them a chance to resolve it themselves, number one. And if it's bothering you, then go somewhere else, but monitor it. I mean, if it's going to escalate into bullying and pain, absolutely break it up. But then what you need to do is once if you have to break it up and just put them in separate rooms, that's the best way to do it without yelling. Everybody just calm down and go into
Yeah.
your room. We'll come out in 10 minutes. We're going to talk about this. And once it's calm, then talk about it with them. What happened? How can we prevent this from happening next time? Let them problem solve. Let them brainstorm the situation and go, well, this one made me mad because of blah, 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 blah. Well, okay, why did you do that? Well, because I wanted the thing out of his room and he wouldn't let me in his room. Okay, well, so how would you feel if somebody wanted to barge into your room without knocking on the door and being respectful? Well, but I wanted it. Well, do we always get what we want? No, we don't always get what we want. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Just because you want something doesn't mean you get it. You have to be respectful to others in order to earn respect for you. If you don't want your brother barging into your room anytime he wants, you cannot do that to them. Or one of them gets hit and the other hits back.
Hmm.
And they're like, well, he hit me. Well, did you like being hit? No. So why are you doing the same behavior? It is
Hmm.
important to help children understand that the key to life is that you're in control of you completely. No one makes you yell. No one makes
Yep.
you hit. No one
Yep.
makes you do anything unless they're holding a gun to your head, then maybe they make you do that. But if that is not happening, you are in control of you, nobody else. And if you are going to hit somebody simply because they hit you, did you like that behavior? Are you proud of that behavior? No, you need to be the person that says, I'm not going to hit you. That was demonstrated very well at the Oscars, the Academy Awards, that one time between Chris Rock
Yeah, I know
and Will Smith.
exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
Who was the one that most people talked about? Will Smith. Who was the one that most people should have spoken about? Chris Rock. Because he got slapped without even realizing it. And what did he do? Nothing. No one would have been surprised if he slapped back. But instead, he made light of the situation. Will Smith stormed back, cussing and raging. He looked like a fool. And Chris Rock did everything he should have done. He responded with his values and the way he wanted to respond, and he calmed it down, and the show had to go on. That's what you have to be. You have to be the person that's aligned with your values and be in integrity with yourself. You don't do something just because someone else did it to you. If you didn't like it, why in the world are you repeating it? Did that answer your question? Because I
Yes.
go on these
Yes, it
tangents,
did. It
Amber.
did. No, I love it.
I don't
I
really
love it.
answer.
So let's say my kids, they yell a lot. I like to think they didn't learn it from me, but I can't
What?
guarantee it,
Because
right?
they did. They learn
Yes.
everything from you.
And
Everything
so
we do, we
let's
give our children
say,
permission to do.
yes, so let's say that I change my behavior and I'm no longer yelling. I'm doing things very calmly. I'm doing them mindfully. Are they going to follow suit, or do I need to coach because they're teenagers now? Do I need to coach them when they're yelling at each other and say, let's use a softer voice? You can still do this, just softer voice.
Yes.
Like,
So,
so
yes, you do have to help them because they have learned that
yeah.
response when they're disappointed, basically. That is why it's important as part of your family puzzle, your family framework, to have weekly family meetings. I have a specific agenda for that. And I ask my clients to follow it specifically because there's a reason that agenda was created. And they're 15 minutes. Everybody tells you to hold it 2 hours. Some people teach, do not sit there for 2 hours.
Oh
Nobody
my
wants to sit.
gosh. They
Yes,
don't have
I happen to know
the
a parenting
attention
coach.
time span. Yeah.
I mean, who wants to
No.
sit through a 2-hour meeting? Let's face it, nobody does. You don't want to do it at work. You don't want to do it at home. Your kids
No.
certainly don't want to do it. So it should last like 15, 20 minutes max. But, you know, reach out to me if you want to learn more about that. But, well, actually, I'll tell you about the 21 Days to Stop Yelling program at
Yeah, please.
quityelling.com. It includes all these methods. But, and in 21 days, you can stop yelling. But the thing is, they have now created this reaction to when things don't go their way.
Yes.
So
Yep.
they're already in a habit. So what's great is once you have decided, I am not doing this anymore, sit down with your children, your husband, all 7 of you, and say, look, I have decided not to yell anymore. I'm going to make a strong, committed effort not to yell anymore. There's not one child that's going to be like, oh, no, mom, go ahead, keep yelling. We're loving it. Every child will be on board with this. And then follow it with, I need your help. I need your help to hold me accountable for not yelling. But I really want to create a culture in this family of calm, respectful communication. I want us all to concentrate on being respectful, to concentrate on speaking kindly, using our manners, speak with a smile. You know, I want us all to make this effort and hold each other accountable. Once you do that, when people do like my 21-day challenge, when people work with me privately, the interesting thing is, and the shock is, they'll be like, you know what? We had our talk yesterday and today I hardly yelled. And they'll be like, what magic did you do? And people are always telling me my things are magic. And it's not the magic, it's the awareness. All I did simply in that first day was make you aware that you're yelling. And once you're aware, that's the first step. Okay, well, I'm about to yell. Oh, but wait a minute. I don't want to yell. So let me think of how I can approach this situation without yelling. And go in there and go, hey, guys, it's almost time for bed. Please go brush your teeth. Let's get ready. And, we can read some books. We can whatever happens in your bedtime routine, and calmly talk to them. Calm breeds more calm. Anger breeds more anger. Which do you want? If you calmly talk to them, they will calmly respond. Is it a process? Absolutely. Just like you said, Amber, earlier. Nothing's going to happen overnight. Nothing all of a sudden tomorrow, nobody's yelling in my house. That's not reality. We have to learn, we have to hold each other accountable, and we have to make the culture in our home one of calm and respectful conversation. Does that help?
I think it does. And I think I'm going to do the tally, but I think I'm also going to tally myself for when I do yell, tally it. And that way I can see visually that start to go down.
Yeah. So do the scoreboard, which is also part of the 21 days to stop yelling. And give points to you and all the kids, because parents are always on the scoreboard. It's not just for the kids, for you too.
Oh,
And
okay.
give yourself a point, a tally, every time you don't yell. So that you're more focused on when you don't than when you do.
The positive, right. Very good.
When they ask nicely, when they use their manners. And parents, if you're like, well, my kids never use their manners. Parents will say that to me all the time. My question to you is, when do you use theirs? When do you use yours? I had a client, they were both attorneys, and they wanted me to help them create a better, well-mannered. Is better well-mannered, is that like a double whatever?
It's fine.
More well-mannered, they wanted
Yeah.
they wanted their daughter to be well-mannered. And I said to them, well, how often do you use your manners? And they go, well, sometimes, we've been married a long time, so we don't use them all the time. Manners never go out of style. I will be married 30 years this year. I was married in my first marriage 15 years. I've been married my whole life because I'm only 45. I'm as old as my daughter. I always, every day when I ask, I say please. If I ask my husband something, I say please. If he does something, I say thank you. There is never a day in my life that I don't use manners. And if you sometimes use your manners, your children will also sometimes use theirs. You teach them language. We are born with communication skills. We are not born with language. If your child's cussing, he learned it somewhere. If they're being arrogant and obnoxious and screaming, they learned it somewhere. If they don't use manners, they learned that somewhere or didn't learn it somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I even ask my kids, please, when I ask them to do something. I'm like, could you please go do this? Please do that. So I do catch them saying please. And when they go out, I get compliments of how well-mannered they are. They don't always use it in the house, but when they're out, I do get the compliments. Yeah, it is nice.
Remind them to. And I'll give you another trick. So here's another trick, guys. Say your child has to take out the trash, okay? And when they get home from school, they need to take out the trash. It's trash day, whatever. Instead of saying to them, Tommy, don't forget when you get home from school, you have to take out the trash, like most parents would say. Because what does that do? That tells your child you don't believe in them. You assume they're going to forget. So you are reminding them. Do this instead, and you can do this with any child, any age. Tommy goes to school, you give him a hug. By the way, honey, thanks for taking out the trash when you get home. I haven't even done it yet. I know, but I know you're gonna do it, and I might not be here to thank you, so I'm thanking you in advance. Okay. Well, that's weird,
Okay.
but okay. Now, whether they think it's weird or not, now you have set up a positive expectation for them. You did not doubt that they were going to do it. You knew they were going to do it. And now they're obligated to do it because you've already thanked them. So
I
it's a
love
win-win.
that.
You can do that with anything. A little kid, you hand them a cup of milk and they tend to spill. Say, here's your milk, honey. Thank you for being careful as you hold it. Now they're like, careful as I hold it. Okay, I'm going to be careful as I hold it. Better put a lid on it if they're really little, but
Yeah.
anything like that. It works for anything. And you're sending the message that you believe in your child. Much
Wow.
better than you don't believe in your child.
That is so impactful. I'm going to start doing that because that would make such a difference. Yeah, I really like that one.
Much nicer way to remind without actually
Absolutely.
reminding.
Yeah. Yeah, because it does kind of come off like, you really think I'm not going to do it? Like,
Right. I know I'm supposed to do it. Well, what are you reminding me for? You know how you get.
yeah.
Because it's
And I think I've even gotten
implying
them
you don't
saying,
believe in them.
yes. And I do think I've even heard them say, I know, you know, not
You
with the
don't have to tell
attitude.
me that.
Yeah.
Totally different if you thank them. Oh, by the way, thanks for taking the trash out when you get home. Okay, Ma. And like a teenager, a little kid won't look at you weird. A teenager may. And they may look at you like, I haven't even taken it out yet. I know you haven't, but I know you're going to. And I just want to make sure I thank you. And I may not be around to thank you. So thank you.
Oh, that's a good one.
Okay, Mom. And he still may give you a funny look like alien. Doesn't matter because the message gets through. The
Yes.
message that you're appreciating what they're doing and you're believing in them. That's the message. Doesn't matter their reaction. Doesn't matter. What matters is the message they're receiving from you.
That's perfect. I loved learning about this. I think it was a phenomenal podcast episode. I think it's going to be so impactful and so helpful to so many people because most of the people that listen are parents. Not all, but most of them. So I know that this is going to be a good one. And I would really like to discuss with you doing more episodes on different areas of parenting. Today was how to raise respectful children without yelling. And I think that that is so wonderful. And I'm definitely going to get your 21-day course.
Well, I hope
Because
you guys
even,
do.
yeah, because even though I think I don't yell, knowing that they do, maybe I was yelling when they were younger. I honestly don't remember. So, because it was my childhood, it could be that I do it when I don't really notice.
It's so
So
ingrained in you.
it's so ingrained. So I'm definitely going to get that course because I would love for that to be calmer and more respectful, for myself toward my children, but also my children toward my children.
Right. To them to learn, it's like I try to impress upon parents too. It's like when you think of your relationship between you and your spouse or partner, that relationship models to your children what a normal relationship is. And
Yes.
if it is very combative, if there's a lot of name calling, cussing, whatever, very disrespectful, then that is what they think a normal relationship is like. And you will see that in their siblings. You'll see that with their family, their cousins, their friends, and eventually with people that they fall in love with. It will be the one relationship that you modeled. That's why it's so important. So important.
It is.
And I hope you all
Well,
go to quityelling.com, and get the
yes.
course. It will be the single best investment ever. It is not super expensive. But even if it was 3 times more expensive, it would be worth it because it would end your stress and your aggravation for years and years to come. So it's, it's important. It's so important. Your family's
I think
important.
it
Your
is.
stress level is important.
Yeah, absolutely. Celia, is there anything else you would like to share that maybe we didn't touch on, or something about your courses that you'd like to share before we close out?
Well, since I haven't shared this yet, but big news is on the horizon. And if you want to be a better parent, which I think we all do, I'm on the edge of releasing my app. That's going to help you incredibly.
Oh,
It's going to be like having me in your pocket. So having my 40 plus years of experience right in your pocket. And you'll be able to ask it questions, and my advice will come through, not random whoever's out there telling you to do a family meeting for 2 hours. Don't do that.
yeah.
That will be my information. So I know it's good. But that will be released soon. You'll look for Be a Better Parent. It's my huge project I'm working on right now. But start with quityelling.com. Get started 20. What's your life going to look like 22 days from now if you don't do this? Just think about that. Do you want more of the stress and chaos that's going on right now for your kids, for you? Wouldn't you like to be a proud parent instead of a loud parent? You can be
Hmm.
proud of you, and your kids will be proud of you. So go do that. Is the best money spent in the entire world if you can change the dynamic of your family. Everybody yells and everybody feels terrible about it. And I want to reiterate one other thing to you, and that is just take time to start noticing the good your children do. Whenever you're listening to this podcast, when you turn it off, you go back home, or maybe you are home, take the next hour and try to see everything your kids are doing right. And then make sure you tell them, wow, that was so nice. That I saw you picked up that. I didn't even have to ask you. Thank you so much for doing that. Thank you for helping me. Thank you for helping your
Hmm.
brother. Thank you for doing your homework so nicely. Whatever it is. Thank you for getting in the shower so quickly. Whatever it is, start noticing the good your children do and start letting them know you notice, telling you it's a game changer.
Absolutely. What about your book? Where can people get your book?
So if you go to amazonforparents.com, amazonforparents.com, that is my Amazon page. On there, you will see a section that has Celia's books. Those are my books, Raising Happy Toddlers, along with, it's in English or Spanish, by the way, along with my 3 children's books and another book that I have. You'll see books I recommend. I run a kids fitness program that I've been running for 40 years. There's a section of all kinds of games and equipment that I use in my classes all the time that will be great for home. If you need
Oh,
baby supplies, everything on amazonforparents.com has been tried, tested, and loved by either me personally or my clients that have recommended these things to me. So it's all in categories, and it will immediately give you, instead of doing all the research, it will immediately give you ideas and resources that you can use today.
perfect.
Amazonforparents.com.
Perfect. Um, To our listeners, I really appreciate you guys sticking with us through this podcast episode. I really hope you find it very inspiring and helpful. If you want to get these things from Celia or reach out to her in some way, her links will all be in the descriptions of the audios and videos of this episode. Celia, thank you so much for being on again.
Thank you, Amber. And I look forward to more. I would love to do some more episodes with you. Super fun.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you guys so much again. And I look forward to doing more episodes. You guys have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye.